Brazilian Blowout has opened my clientele base. Not only am I doing cuts and colors, now I'm doing this amazing life-changing treatment on people who never had the hair that they wanted. Beautiful, frizz-free, silky smooth hair.
If you think of naturally damaged or dried out hair, think of it like a pine cone. It has all these cracks and voids in the hair. We fill in those cracks and voids with our solution. We smooth down that cuticle and we form a protective layer on the surface. It's soft, it's smooth, it has a surface for light to bounce off of, so therefore it's more shiny, and it's a stronger strand of hair.
I've spent my whole life with curly, coarse, frizzy, very difficult to manage hair. So I think this process has truly changed that aspect for me. It's made me feel better, more confident. I look in the mirror and I know my hair looks great now.
I was amazed. I was in awe of it, and I just wanted to keep going and going with it.
The amount of time it takes me to do my hair before I get ready for work in the morning is probably about half the time.
I just wash it and blow it out, and it looks like I've been to the salon.
It has absolutely changed my life as a stylist. It's pretty much created a whole new clientele for me. It's given me a service that I can do on every single client, and it's really brought my referrals up through the roof.
Brazilian Blowout has changed the industry.
Incorporating it in my salon services has just increased my revenue tenfold. It's amazing.
With me financially, it's been quite a blessing to me and my family, but the biggest reward still is the clients actually calling me back and telling me how it's changed their lives.
The Brazilian Blowout has changed my life and the life of all my clients.
Totally changed my life.
Changed my life.
Changed my life.
Changed my life. And my hair that I live with every day, I love it.
In order to properly perform the Brazilian Blowout smoothing treatment, you will need the following tools. The first step of the Brazilian Blowout smoothing treatment is to wash the hair thoroughly with the Brazilian Blowout Anti-Residue Professional Shampoo. It may take up to 6 washes to get the hair squeaky clean. The number of times that you use the anti-residue shampoo will depend on the texture of your client's hair and how dirty it is. When in doubt, shampoo again. You can never over-shampoo, as you need the hair to be squeaky clean in order to properly perform the Brazilian Blowout treatment. The solution will more effectively deposit into and bond to the hair when the hair is as clean and porous as possible. The Brazilian Blowout Anti-Residue Shampoo is specifically formulated with the proper pH level to prepare the hair for the treatment without stripping color or other chemical treatments from the hair. Once the hair has been thoroughly washed, you will towel dry the hair just a bit to extract the excess moisture from the hair. You need to keep most of the moisture in the hair for the Brazilian Blowout Professional solution to absorb and spread evenly. If the hair dries during the application process, use a water bottle to re-wet the hair to make it easier to apply and spread the Brazilian Blowout solution. Next, you will divide the hair into 4 panels. Always start from the base of the head and work your way to the top. There should be 2 panels at the base of the head and 2 panels at the top of the head. Now you are ready to measure the appropriate amount of Brazilian Blowout solution. Thoroughly shake the bottle before measuring. Remember, less is more, and you will always measure using quarter ounces as your guide. Here is your measuring guide. On average, for clients with chin-length hair, you will use a quarter ounce of product. If the chin-length hair is very thick, you will use closer to a half ounce of product. For clients with shoulder length hair, you will use a 1/2 ounce of product. If the shoulder length hair is very thick, you may use closer to 3/4 of an ounce of product. And for clients with longer than shoulder length hair, you will use 3/4 of an ounce of product. If the longer hair is very thick, you may use closer to 1 ounce of product. Once you've measured the appropriate amount of solution, you are ready to apply the solution to the hair. When applying Brazilian blowout solution, apply approximately a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch sections depending on the texture, type, and thickness of hair. Make sure to apply solution 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch off of the scalp. You will use a color applicator brush to lightly dust the Brazilian blowout solution onto the hair. Do not oversaturate each section. Once you see the proper amount of solution to use on each section of hair, you will better understand how little product you need to achieve the perfect results. After you dust the solution on the hair, you will pull the solution through each section of hair with a fine-tooth comb. If you accidentally use too much product on one section of hair and you have excess solution on the comb, pull down another section of hair and use the residual amount on your comb to pull through the new section. You'll marry these two sections together. Once you have finished applying this solution to the back sections of the hair, you will move to the front two sections. When working on the front sections of hair, you will apply the Brazilian blowout solution directly to the root of the hair, a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off of the scalp. Never apply directly on the scalp. Once you've finished applying the Brazilian blowout solution, you will perform a proper blow dry, drying the hair as straight and as smooth as possible. You can use either a paddle brush or a round brush, whatever is your professional preference. For best results, blow dry the hair using as much tension as possible. When blow drying, it is always recommended to keep the blow dryer at least 2 inches away from the hair to minimize the release of steam. Once the hair is 100% dry and blown as straight and as smooth as possible, you will move on to perform the most important step in the treatment, the flat iron process. When you flat iron the hair, you are sealing the professional solution into the hair and providing a protective protein layer around the hair. This will allow for the longest lasting result possible. It's important during this step to ask the client how he or she wears their hair. Which way do they typically part or style? This will assist you in directing the flat iron the proper way when at the top of the head. You should use a professional flat iron that reaches at least 450 degrees. Depending on the condition of the hair, the flat iron temperature should range between 380 degrees to 450 degrees. You will want to use a lower temperature for hair that is more porous and damaged. The hair needs to once again be divided into 4 separate sections. Start at the back of the head and work your way up to the top. When working within each of the 4 sections, you will take a 1/2 inch to 1 inch size subsections and apply the flat iron from root to end, using the same tension or pressure all the way down the hair shaft and easing the tension through the ends. Pass over each section of hair at least 4 to 5 times. For a straighter appearance, pass over the hair 7 or more times. Please note that the smaller the subsection and the more passes with the flat iron, the smoother the end result will be. With larger subsections and fewer passes with the flat iron, more of the natural curl pattern will be preserved. When you flat iron the hair using the Brazilian Blowout Zero solution, you will iron smaller sections than you would with the original Brazilian Blowout solution. These should be 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch subsections. You should always perform 4 to 5 additional passes over the hair versus the original Brazilian Blowout solution. When you are finished with the flat iron and the hair is completely straight, You will take the client back to the shampoo bowl to rinse the hair for 1 to 2 minutes using warm water. Remember, you are rinsing the hair, not shampooing the hair. Once the hair has been completely rinsed, you will apply a generous amount of the Brazilian Blowout Deep Conditioning Mask to the hair and massage it through. Leave the mask in the hair for about 1 minute, continuing to work it through the hair. Next, you will rinse with warm water, and then you will towel dry the hair. Once the hair is towel dried and prior to blow drying, apply a nickel-size amount of the Brazilian Blowout Smoothing Serum, starting at the ends of the hair and working your way up. Once the hair is prepped with the Brazilian Blowout Smoothing Serum, you will blow dry as desired. For the smoothest, sleekest appearance possible, use a flat or round brush in your final blow dry. As you can see, the Brazilian Blowout Professional Smoothing Treatment leaves the hair incredibly smooth, frizz-free, and shiny. Your clients can expect this result to last up to 12 weeks. If you have a client who is extremely concerned about maintaining volume in their hair, you can always customize the treatment by applying the Brazilian Blowout solution about 2 to 3 inches away from the scalp. This will help to maintain the volume at the root of the hair. Remember, if the client has very kinky or curly hair, you never want to do this. You want to apply as close to the scalp as possible to rid the hair of any and all curl or frizz. If you have already applied the Brazilian Blowout solution too closely to the scalp and the client would still like volume in their hair, you can over-direct the flat iron on areas close to the scalp to create more volume. If you are performing the Brazilian Blowout on a client who already has extensions, you will perform the treatment the same way as a client without extensions. However, be sure to apply the solution about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch away from the bond to avoid slippage. This goes for the flat ironing as well. If a client is thinking of putting extensions in their hair following a Brazilian Blowout treatment, they must wait at least 1 week or 3 washes. If you are performing the Brazilian Blowout on a client who has extra short hair, you will want to make sure to apply the solution as close to the scalp as possible without actually touching the scalp. In addition, you will want to use extra tension during both the blow drying and flat ironing processes. When performing the Brazilian Blowout treatment on extra frizzy hair, you will want to be sure to use smaller sections of hair during the blow drying and flat ironing processes. You will also want to pass over each section at least 7 or more times during the flat iron process to ensure the smoothest possible result. The same goes for clients who desire extremely straight results. Be sure to use smaller sections of hair during the flat iron process and pass over each section of hair with the flat iron at least 7 or more times for the straightest possible result. Once you have finished performing the Brazilian Blowout Professional treatment, it is critical that you prescribe the proper Brazilian Blowout maintenance aftercare products for your clients. At the very least, you should send your clients home with the Brazilian Blowout Açaí shampoo, conditioner, the smoothing serum, and the deep conditioning mask. All of these products are specifically formulated to ensure the life of the Brazilian Blowout treatment and guarantee the best results. Thank you for taking the time to become a Brazilian Blowout certified stylist. We wish you the best in your future endeavors as a professional stylist.